Yeah, what's happening with y'all, man? This your boy, Bless the Best, coming at you again with some more good shit from out here in these YouTube streets, right? Okay. Yesterday, I made a video answering a lot of questions from Mr. Kwame Brown about what do black people have to do with the Kyle Riddenhouse case and how the Ahmaud Arbery case should be the focus and this and that. And for the few people that watched that video, I'm pretty sure that they'll say I broke that shit down pretty damn good in this and expose what the hell we got going on here, right? Okay. Since then, now we about to catch up to speed on that. Since then, Kwame done went live 2 other times, right? So this is like straight out the media playbook, okay? When politicians, public figures, people of that sort, when they make statements that outrage their fans or the public in general, they'll stick their hand up to the wind, see which way they're going, and they have to make a decision. Should I double down or should I walk it back, right? And okay. They will reach out to other friendly media outlets and they'll go there and they'll do a video, and that's where they will express they double down or they walk back. Most of the times, they won't go to like a neutral or a hostile media source for the interview because they already know that the questions is gonna be softball. It's gonna be like a friendly interview. So Kwame Brown chose to go live with Carcino, his number one nut buddy. I'll just say that, his number one nut buddy, and they had a conversation where Carcino was, I won't say he was giving Kwame the business because he was kind of nervous about what he was saying, so he was laughing a lot of stuff off. But he was telling him some real shit, right? He was telling him some real shit. And Kwame, he tried to push back a little bit, but his pushbacks, the talking points that he used to push back is straight from fucking Fox News, from fucking America One News, you know what I mean? I don't know. Somebody smell it right over there. So he did this little softball interview where he was kind of backtracking, and he wanted to narrow it down to the act. Like he wants the story to start when Kyle Riddenhouse is out on the streets of Kenosha with this AR-15, whatever the fuck it was, this long ass goddamn gun you see motherfuckers in the military shooting motherfuckers with. Put it like that. At the moment when people approached him, that's all he want to deal with. That's all the white supremacists want to deal with. That's all the judge want to deal with. That's all the jury dealt with. And that's all Kyle Rittenhouse wants you to deal with. Because he don't want you to see the big picture and how it was all a setup, some way to put him on the streets, hoping some type of danger would be there, knowing most of the protesters not gonna be walking around with AR-15s. So knowing he already got the ups, the white people that ran up on him, they really fucked up his plan. You know what I mean? But just like I explained in my video yesterday, the whole thing is a big part. So I would take it as, he tried to buck dance and walk it back a little bit, but he didn't really push back. So now to his next video that he put out this morning. Something about ESPN and people minds and how ESPN is playing a game with us. This whole video is a deflection from that shit he said about the Rittenhouse verdict. It's to deflect. No. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy to pretend that I don't see white supremacy at work here. That 17-year-old guy, the gun wasn't even a military, all this shit, the same shit that you would hear from a motherfucker pull up with 15 Trump flags on his truck. And for the sake of time, I'm gonna get on with it right now. And we'll talk a little bit, and then I'll just sum it all up at the end. So here we go, fellas. Kwame Brown with his take on the situation, his double down on why he was right, and he will deflect all of the blame to ESPN with some of the most illogical arguments I've ever heard him make. See, that's what it is. When you get behind some bullshit and you start getting them tough questions and you have to explain the bullshit that you behind, you come off sounding fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you come sound like you crazy or you playing crazy. You be the judge. Kwame Brown.
Y'all just don't know the half. I'm not even gonna say. But the emails I get are very long emails. I'll just say that. A lot of them are not just, hey, da, da, da. These are like very long emails. So, bear with the busty butt.
People lighting his ass up in them emails. So, this is what sent them on this poor excuse for a damage control mission.
But let me finish these apples, because I got a video for y'all. Oh, wait a minute. I got two things to do before I forget. I'm finna give away a free ticket, okay? The first email that goes to the Eventbrite email or the AKR.org. It's in the chat, don't quote me on that. First email gets a free ticket. So go.
Fast forward past this shit.
Come on, buy your old lady a ticket first. Yeah, that's how you do that. Also, please go check out my new video. Come to that platform. So now that is. But I want to talk to you about a video that I heard on NBA Today, ESPN. Now, I know me and Carcino had a discussion about this young man, Kyle Rittenhouse, and I could not understand why so many black people are talking about something that I feel, in my opinion, don't have nothing to do with the black community.
If y'all go watch that video, Carcino, you know what I mean? I got my differences with Carcino. I'm very, very familiar with Carcino. I used to listen to him talk about rappers and shit like that, like years ago when I first really discovered YouTube for content like that. Carcino broke that shit down all the way into layman's term. Carcino is a very good communicator. You know what I mean? When he moving in the right direction, he's a very good communicator. So Kwame Brown is fucking lying, saying that he don't understand. He's using this as a deflection. See, if you ask a white supremacist, do white supremacy exist? He's gonna tell you no, because that's the strongest part of it. It's plausible deniability. You can see it plainly right there, but they'll play crazy and act like they don't see it. And my sister, Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, told us how white people will play crazy about white supremacy, and then some black people will play like they don't see it. That's why I like when it's blatant like this. But he lying. Don't fall for the bullshit. Let's go.
But then Carcino said it really didn't have anything to do with like the black community. Carcino said it really didn't have nothing to do with the black community. It was more so him having a firearm and about him not being charged with the firearm and him shouldn't not be in it.
That's not the general theme of what Carcino said. He's about to try to walk you down a whole separate road to deflect from his motherfucking cooning. Check him out now. Check him out.
And all that type of stuff. And I'm like, okay, I can give you the firearm situation and blah, 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 blah. And that's before
blah, 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 blah.
Research.
Blah, 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 blah,
and
blah.
So, but still,
yeah, right.
I just couldn't understand why this case was taking precedent over the Ahmaud Arbery's case. If you're going to make...
Because it started sooner and it was over sooner. The people report today's news, Kwame. That's why nobody's doing that. What you saying, you operating off a fallacy from the beginning. Nobody is doing that. Both of these cases are about white supremacy in this country, right? The first case, the Rittenhouse case, is about the type of white supremacy that they tell you don't exist. That's why it's more important. What you seeing in the Ahmaud Arbery case is old school slavery style white supremacy, right? Those unsophisticated types that can't get with the ways of today will get sacrificed. The white people don't give a fuck about them. They calling them stupid motherfuckers for that shit that they did, but they gonna try to fucking duplicate Kyle Rittenhouse. They want to duplicate Kyle Rittenhouse everywhere. And with all this goddamn logic and all this fucking talking you do on the goddamn internet to my people, you can't see that, man. You don't need to be talking about it. You need to be like ESPN and stick to fucking sports, if that's the case. But we're gonna move on.
The whole point that it's about racism in America and all that, you would be better served to talk about Ahmaud Arbery than Kyle Rittenhouse. So it just makes
no scare ass niggas like you would be better served from that. But in intelligent black society, we know the lines and we know how to read in between them. And we ain't living in no fucking fantasy world, no altruistic fantasy world where all men are equal and all this we the people shit that you doing. Let's go.
They kept talking about the type of gun, mischaracterizing the type of gun that he had. So it made me start thinking that they're publicizing this case more because it's about the Second Amendment. It's about making the white guy look crazy.
Okay. Go to any mass shooting from the past, right? Where the gunman was a white guy with a military style, some type of assault weapon. Find a story about that, right? And then go to Tucker Carlson on Fox News and listen to his commentary about the shooting. And it will perfectly match what you about to hear from Kwame Brown, because he has a real big beef with Democrats. Join the club. Me too, big guy. But we already know, okay, the reason why we not fucking with the Democrats is because we found out and we finally realized that there is no difference. They all white supremacists. They arguing about the methods to control black people. So you can stop this bullshit trying to funnel black people to the Republican Party. You know, gun control is one of the main pillars of the Republican Party. Not gun control. The Republican Party wants no gun control at all. The Democratic Party wants total gun control. Kwame Brown is trying to funnel black people to the Republican Party by using their talking points from another mouth. He is no difference from okay, go to a Candace Owens commentary and watch what she says about this and other shootings. You're gonna hear the same fucking thing. Go to fucking Tommy Lauren. Her commentary will match Kwame Brown. It's something fucking wrong with that. But y'all listen to this goddamn buck dancing and deflection. Don't take my word for it. Listen to this shit.
Bad. And because they could have easily did it with the white guys on the shotgun, with the back of the truck with the shotgun. But that's not the type of gun that they want to ban. This is about a gun reform. So Kyle Rittenhouse, this is politics.
Every time he say they, he talking about the Democrats. Listen to this shit.
In my opinion, they kept saying the type of firearm. Other white men used the firearm against Ahmaud Arbery, but none of them talked about that case because they use shotguns, which you can't do nothing about. It's a shotgun. They keep attacking this assault rifle type of weapon. Even this brother Kendrick Perkins said that this was an AK-47, which it wasn't. And then you hear a lot of the people say,
Boy, Kendrick Perkins probably can't spell AK-47. What the fuck are you talking about, nigga?
and it's a military style weapon, which is not. And so
It is, nigga. It is. You falling for I'm white and I say so.
I wanna play this video of ESPN NBA Today, and it's just weird to me how the setup is. It's three black people acting as if this is some social justice thing about black people. They're going to even mention other situations that happen to other black men on a sports show. This is ESPN. They're supposed to talk about rights and lefts, jump shots, passes, the jukes and the spin moves, the yardage and the numbers and the percentages. But these some bitches talking about a white kid that they say,
I guess ESPN need to shut up and dribble. Another right-wing talking point out of the mouth of Mr. Brown.
had a gun and was doing something that they say was being a vigilante and black people are worried. Well, what the fuck? I don't get this shit. Let's play the video.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
let's
I
play
was
it.
right. This media has been brainwashing us. It's at every tier. It's in sports. It's in your politics. It's at your job.
Notice the focus ain't on that coon ass shit you said no more. Now he trying to shift the weight to ESPN and change the conversation, right? It's not gonna work, Kwame.
It's in your color. It's in everything. This is bullshit. Watch this shit.
Highlights of Steph Curry's brilliance, which we will eventually get to, but we're starting with something.
Hold up. She's talked about Steph Curry. She talked about basketball for like a second. She mentioned a basketball player on a sports show for like a half a second. This guy is on pace to be the MVP. But she said we're gonna talk about Steph Curry for a second and never get around to it.
Fuck Steph Curry. Fuck Steph Curry. How about that?
But we're starting with something that is much more important. Of NBA Today. To start the show with highlights of
Oh, fair use.
Steph Curry's brilliance, which we will eventually get to.
Look.
We're planning to start the show with highlights of Steph Curry's brilliance, which we will eventually get to, but we're starting with something that is much more important. A verdict in a
Much more important. This is much more important than the sports that we're supposed to be talking about. This right here is much more important. Okay.
This right here is shut up and dribble. It is much more important than fucking Steph Curry, nigga. Fuck you talking about, nigga?
Okay, it's more important. Why is more important? Let's go.
house in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty of all charges against him. Rittenhouse, 18, pled not guilty after killing 2 men and wounding a third with an AR-style semi-auto rifle.
After killing two men. Why is that important? If the men that got killed were black, they would have definitely said 2 black men. Because she's going to go on to name black men that were killed, and she's going.
And you know what, Kwame? You're absolutely right. But that ain't got a motherfucking thing to do with your goddamn buck dancing. Let's get back to that.
Definitely say the color of these men. But now that we know that 2 white men died, she wouldn't even mention the color of said men. Why? If it's not a simulation, if it's not a game, why are they not reporting it the same way?
Why? Because that sock puppet ass commentator sees the big picture that you don't want to see, Kwame. That big picture that has you on center stage, buck dancing. I'm gonna get me some goddamn buck dancing music for you, boy.
2 white men were killed. Why not say that? They're going to tell you that some black people were killed. Watch this.
automatic rifle. The mostly white jury deliberated for 3.
Okay, you can't acknowledge the color when it's talking about the death, but when it's talking about the juror color, you make sure you say that.
You're damn right. You point out that it was a goddamn all-white 1955 jury. Buck.
White. Okay, let's keep going.
Half days before acquitting him, Rittenhouse was facing a life sentence after being charged with homicide, attempted homicide, and recklessly endangering safety. The shootings took place in the summer of 2020 after a night of protests over police violence against black people in the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the shooting
Against black people. We start the color thing. Against black.
That's what the fuck they was protesting. Police violence against black people. Buck, stop it, man. This shit is fucking crazy. Stop it, man. See how you gotta drive all off the road to try to make a point when you behind some bullshit? Take that ass whipping and repent, nigga.
People in the wake of George Floyd. So we mentioning George Floyd on a case where a white kid shot 2 white men, which she so happened to leave out the color of said white dead men. Okay, she mistakenly made that. She made that. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. But she keep remembering the color when it goes to the narrative that she's trying to come across with. When it's a white juror, she remembers. When it's a black person dead, she remembers the color. You know, kind of selective, kind of weird. But let's keep going.
of Jacob Blake, the day automatic rifle. The mostly white jury deliberated for 3.
Okay, you can't acknowledge the color when it's talking about the death, but when it's talking about the juror color, you make sure you say they're white. Okay, let's keep going.
Half days before acquitting him, Rittenhouse was facing a life sentence after being charged with homicide, attempted homicide, and recklessly endangering safety. The shootings took place in the summer of 2020 after a night of protests over police violence against black people in the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the shooting
Against black people. We start the color thing. Against black people in the wake of George Floyd.
This logical young man who has taken the internet by storm with his sound logic can't see the tie-in from George Floyd in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the protests about Blake in Kenosha to Kyle Riddenhouse shooting. He can't see how all that ties together. Crazy? No. Crazy like a fox? Yes.
So we mentioning George Floyd on a case where a white kid shot 2 white men, which she so happened to leave out the color of said white dead men.
In the name of white supremacy, which you just so happen to leave out, Mr. Brown.
Okay, she mistakenly made that. She made that. That was a mistake.
All right, you made a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Okay,
but
you made a
she
mistake.
keep remembering the color when it goes to the narrative that she's trying to come across with. When it's a white juror, she remembers. When it's a black person dead, she remembers the color.
This is called go along to get along with white society. Kwame Brown says he's not connected to any group. That's his group. The group that wants to go along to get along with white society. The uncompromising versus the compromise.
You know, kind of selective, kind of weird. But let's keep going.
It is, Kwame. It is. It's
The day
weird as fuck.
after the shooting, the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, they voted not to play an NBA
The Bucks, buck dancing correlates perfectly.
playoff game in the Orlando bubble, and
Okay, that's overkill. What does Kyle Rittenhouse have to do with an NBA team decided not to play because of Jacob Blake got shot. Like, that's crazy how they're tying all of this in together. Because this is about that type of weapon that he had in his hand. That's what this is about. Because if it was about protecting...
Hey man, everybody make sure you got on your seatbelts, because this is gonna be a sharp turn. This is gonna be a sharp turn to the right. A sharp turn to the right against the Democratic gun control toward the Republican no gun control that I was telling you about earlier.
Black people so much. At least they would have talked about a black kid that got killed by white people. You talked about Jacob Blake, who got shot by white cops. So why not talk about Ahmaud Arbery, who got shot by white people? That would have made more sense to fit your racist narrative.
That's easy. That's easy for white people themselves to condemn, Kwame. You still way over there in that right lane. Stay over there.
This is about guns. This is politics, baby. That's all this is. Get black folks to be mad.
That's all you are.
I said, yeah, it happened right after Jacob Blake got shot by white people. So black people ain't gonna ask them, well, who got shot? 2 people died. I guarantee if you'd have told them niggas 2 white people got killed, some of them niggas would have walked off. I don't give a fuck.
Hey man, everybody over here in my lane already knew that shit, man. But we also knew that they were shot by a white supremacist in the name of white supremacy. But see, you can't say that around your white friends or your white subscribers. You know what I mean? It's a lot of white guys over there with Kwame. You know what I mean? You can't say that in front of them. So you gotta jumble up this crazy ass built up narrative, hard right turn message to try to make it digestible to both white people and black people. But the uncompromising black people over here, nah man, we see that exactly for what it is, bro. Stop it.
Let's be honest. Some of them would have said, well, I don't give a fuck. Give people the information. You're not giving people the proper information. You're keeping people in the dark, and you're keeping...
You gotta go get the motherfucking information. That's what we do over here in the black media. Whatever we hear on the news, we know because it's on the news. It's not the whole story. So we dig and we get it. And when we find it, we spread it. It don't reach your ears when you over there with this big all-inclusive we the people bullshit bubble, bro. That's not the real people. That's not the real streets. That is all of the people that's looking for a soft, comfy spot within white supremacy. That's all that is, bro.
People upset about nothing.
A rest haven for the scared.
Jacob Blake had nothing to do with this Kyle Rittenhouse thing. That was 2 separate incidents. This don't make no damn sense. If you're gonna say about George Floyd and all these black people that died, then holy shit, why not mention the black man that got killed by white people on the back of a pickup truck? Looking like you can create this scene.
Everybody is already talking about that. Stop building your whole argument on the fallacy that black people don't care about or are not talking about Ahmaud Arbery. Mr. Brown?
In an old school slave movie. Why not talk about that on ESPN? Or why not talk about both? Why are you just talking about one? Oh, because it's that weapon that he had, right? Right? That's
okay. When that verdict come back, whether it's today or later on this week, and every fucking news channel with news in the name talking about it, is it still gonna be about that weapon, Kwame? Time heals, but it also reveals who's fake and who's not really real. Shout out to Fabulous about them frenemies.
But you got a problem with that weapon. Because you...
Okay. We got a very important message for Mr. Kwame Brown. We're going to listen to TBA expertly address this caller. I ain't even going to say shit. It ain't nothing left to say after this, right? And after this segment, I got one last segment where TBA will address Kwame Brown directly by name. Bear with me. Check me out, right?
If Hillary out of Little Rock?
Hillary out of Little Rock, what's on your mind?
First off, Jason, you should have played that cool music for old Hopper dude because he was really cooning it up. But as far as this Rittenhouse case, I knew that this knucklehead, baby George Zimmerman, was going to be free.
Right.
And now they're going to do all they can to protect this clown. And then he's going to be coming to want to be a police officer. And then the second thing, the judge need to be benched. The mother need to be charged.
Well, let's be clear about a couple of things here now. I want to remind you, remember after the election of 2020, when people were asking me what I thought about the election of 2020 and everything that went down right there, and I want to thank everybody here who has given me my likes and my shares here tonight because this is a very important program. They want to bury this for real. So thank you to everyone who's liked and shared the program. But remember, after the election of 2020, do you remember what I told you all right there? People were saying that this was a regression. I said, no, it was a relapse.
That's
Let's
right.
be very, very clear, brother.
Right.
It is good for white supremacy to poke its head up. Every once in a while, we needed to poke its head up for one reason, to remind the people why we gotta kill it. We have to remind them that, first of all, it's still there. I'm not sitting here talking about something that doesn't exist. I'm sitting here saying, oh, this is still there. So number one, it's good that they stuck their heads up because it proves that the threat that we said is real is actually real and it's really there. And number two, that it is just as dangerous, just as vicious, and just as evil as we always said it was. So it's still there and it's still dangerous and vicious and evil. So in many ways, it's good that from time to time they poke their heads up and prove everything we said is right, because that is pouring fuel on the fire.
That's right.
That's pouring jet rocket fuel on the fire.
That's right.
And we need them from time to time to show that, so that people don't get comfortable, so people don't get complacent, so people don't get lax. You need to have that every once in a while. Unfortunately. I wish we had a society that didn't need it. But unfortunately, in an era of cell phones and people getting complacent and apathetic and they want to go sit down, every once in a while, you're going to need white supremacy's got to give you a reminder that, hey, nigga, I'm still here.
That's right.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get called from area code 267. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
All right. Now, this caller is going to come in and he wants to ask TBA directly about Kwame Brown, but he starts to beat around the bush a little bit, and TBA figured out who he was talking about, and he went ahead and addressed it. I'm gonna let Mr. TBA take it away from here.
Channel, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Prince out of Richmond, Texas.
Prince out of Richmond, what's on your mind?
Jason, Malcolm X said, they want us to suffer peacefully. But we're not just not suffering peacefully, we also are not overreacting or reactionary. And I appreciate the way that y'all teach us how to hone in our emotions and not to get upset about these things. I want to bring up a person, but I don't want to say it straight out. But it's an individual that's online. He's a former basketball player. And he said, I've always watched him, and you've said a few things kind of about him, and I don't appreciate it because he's attacking black people now. Straight up attacking, saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was...
That's what the street's saying, Kwame. You better put your ear back to the street. Stop hanging around so many coons. Here we go.
Was justified in attacking the white men that stood up for whatever reason they did.
Are we talking about Kwame Brown?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
so
like I say,
go ahead.
Folks, all I'm going to say is, whether you're going to learn this or not, don't call me up and don't ask me, well, Jason, what do you think of this person or that person? If you know I know who that person is, and I've gone a long time and I ain't said nothing about them, I'm saying something. I want y'all to understand that I've been telling you for years. When you hear me not talking about somebody, I'm trying to tell you something. I've heard things, I've seen things, and I'm like, okay, I'm not no damn fanboy who just wants to show up with just any old body. So anybody who's been on TV or been on the radio or been in a movie somewhere, and I'm just gonna make goody with them because I'm clout chasing. No, that ain't me. So when you know that there's somebody out there who they got a rep or folk heard them say something, whatever, and it's like, well, Jason, did you hear that? And it's like, well, Jason should have heard this. Yeah, I have. It's my job to be on top of those things. Well, why haven't you said anything? I'm trying to say something. My silence is how I try to tell y'all about certain people. When you hear stuff and it's like, well, Jason ain't saying nothing, I'm trying to say something to you. And folk been asking me about Kwame for years, and I mentioned that before. I said, y'all, all I'm going to say is I've heard things that have made my ears go up. Well, he's talked good about certain things. So I'm like, yeah, but I'm hearing other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, don't bring me no damn eat the meat and spit out the bones. I ain't no damn bone eater.
Okay. That's the reason why I don't even eat crab legs and crabs. Because it's too much bullshit to pick through to get to that little bit of meat. The meat might be good at the end of the day, but that's too much bullshit to go through. I'd rather go straight for the steak. Feel me?
Don't play that bull jive. So there are things that you should understand reflexively.
That's right.
There are things you should understand as a matter of reflex. I'm not here to get, to get folks' heads straight about these things. If you're so slow that you don't understand four-dimensional chess when you see it,
that's right.
I'm not here to educate you about that. I'm not here to educate you. I'm here to explain to you what the situation is. And if you want to sit there and act like, okay, you got some camaraderie with Tucker Carlson or those types or whatever, go right ahead. Or if you're just too slow to pick up the game, okay, I don't have time to slow it down. I don't have time to slow things down and break it down to Sesame Street language and get out your Lego blocks and spell it out for you.
That's
At
right.
this point right now, everybody should know the damn deal. When you see Kyle Rittenhouse sitting up here with the damn Proud Boys, when you see that, you shouldn't need nobody to tell you anything else. We shouldn't have to say anything else to you. We shouldn't have to tell you.
The compromise versus the uncompromising. All eyes wide open over here. We ain't talking about that fake ass woke that they talk about on TV.
Anything else. If we do have to tell you, then it wouldn't help for us to tell you.
That's right.
Take a look at your screens here right now. I retweeted about this before. Just understand that. White folk understand this. These are white folk who get this.
That's right.
And then you got Negroes sitting up here talking crazy like they don't understand it. There are white folk.
Drop a bomb on that.
Folk understand this. White folk get this. Oh, no. We're white and we're telling you this is what it is what you said it is. It is what you said it is.
That's right.
Which is why, Brother Neely Fuller wrote the compensatory code system concept. Because white supremacy operates in a code.
It is.
This is a code that is disseminated throughout society. Why? Because it is a code that is only encrypted on the...
They don't have a leader. The code is the leader. And that is the way to beat them.
Those who are cowardly or do not wish to recognize it. And white supremacy has realized that, if we're brutal enough and make things hard enough, folk will willfully ignore the code.
That's right.
They will see it right in front of them. And if we give them the choice of choosing to have plausible deniability, a lot of them will accept it. They'll go for it. Dude, all the way just hand signal over here, man, and that's all right there. I'm just glad I got bailed out, that's all right there. When you were with the Proud Boys, I didn't really know that the Proud Boys like that, these are just some dudes I know, just some dudes. Okay, you're always out, you're out here with the Proud Boys. Oh, well, you know, I mean, I didn't really know they're the Proud Boys like that, you know. It's just, these are just some dudes I know, you know. It's just some dudes that, okay, you're always out, you're out here with militia types and whatnot. I mean, they're like ex-military dudes, you know, but it's nothing like that right there, you know. Okay, but you're also a Trump supporter, Rittenhouse, at 17. How the hell? Oh, well, you know, it's just, I'm worried about my taxes. You're 17. What do you, I mean, I do have a job, though, you know. Really? So at some point, like I say, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing taught us, you know, white supremacy plays dumb, and they realize Negroes will play dumb along with them.
That's right.
If they're allowed to.
That's right.
If they're allowed to.
Why are the Negroes are so vocal? I don't hear many of the white people talking to you. They may be in the chat, but I'm talking about they know.
That nigga Kwame Brown almost broke his hand jumping online so fast to cheerlead when this verdict came out. This is addressing that. Let's go.
What's going on? The blacks are being vocal. The black people are being vocal and expressing themselves. They like, is it fear, Jason? That's my last question. Is it fear? Is that they don't want to lose their position with their friendship with white people? And that's all I have to say.
Well, I mean, they tell themselves they have that. Just understand, brother, it's the same thing that it's always been. That everybody recognizes white supremacy and racism. Everybody recognizes that. And there are only two reactions that determine who you are as a person. You are either going to see white supremacy and fight it, or you will see it and then return back to picking the cotton. Put your head down and let me go back to just picking this cotton over here. It isn't that you don't recognize it. It isn't that you don't see it. It is that it is not in your character to stand against it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Here, let me get call from area code 908. You're on live.
Mic drop.